that he's been able to do for the last 3 or 4 years for our conference, and again, a tremendous event here today. Just want to go through a couple different things before we get going here, and really excited about this football season. We do have a tremendous amount of young guys on our football team, and we're excited about where we're at when it comes to those things. Got a lot to do in the next 2 or 3 weeks as far as preseason camp goes, and excited about the personalities and the people who are on our team and the opportunities that we have through a challenging schedule. Obviously opening up at Auburn here in a couple weeks. Got a very good FCS opponent, New Hampshire, coming to our place week 2, back on the road to Indiana, and then really getting an opportunity to be on the road at UMass and then getting into league play. We are one of the few teams in the league. We will play some of the very best teams in our league this year. And we certainly got a challenging schedule and a challenging conference where we know week in and week out we will have to be able to be at our best from top to bottom whenever we go through those guys. Very proud of what we've been able to accomplish at Georgia Southern from all of the things that we've been able to do from a character development piece and from academic support and what we're trying to build in young men day in and day out, and really excited about the opportunities that we're able to give our young people each day, and very excited about being at Georgia Southern. So kind of with that, I'll take any questions that you may have.
Coach, two quick questions. One, you talked about all your youth that you have. How important is it with the new rules to let you bring the kids in a little bit early and get them going a little bit early? And two, last year you got off to such a quick start. Was there 1 or 2 things you could really put your finger on that last year didn't happen after those first couple of weeks?
Sure. First question that he's asked was about being able, with the new rules with the NCAA, about being able to bring guys in a little bit sooner with the elimination of 2-a-days and how that affects us having a young football team. I think you're exactly right. It's a big positive for us. We actually report today. Our team will report tonight around 8 o'clock to a team meeting, and we will start practice tomorrow. It is an advantage for us. It is an advantage for us, in my opinion, to be able to bring those guys in. It gives us more time and what we're being able to do from a teaching standpoint, from a progression standpoint. There is, kind of the fear that you get them in here too long and they start to lose the part of the process and the emphasis of what you're trying to do in the third week. But what I think it does, it helps us as it spaces out time. It gives us an opportunity to do more teaching and gives us an opportunity to have a young football team, give them a little bit more experience from a teaching standpoint. So that part is a tremendous help for us in my opinion, which is why we're doing what we're doing. The next piece goes back to questioning being able to come out the gate, start off at 3-0. And then, finishing up really with a good win versus Troy and having a good win versus New Mexico State, but having some disappointments through there. To say that there were 1 or 2 things, I could pinpoint 1 or 2 things, I guess, to go back on last year. I think it's more than that. I certainly think that as we move forward with everything that we're doing, a big part of it all comes back to being about bringing our football team together from a cohesion standpoint and also building trust. And I think that's what you'll see that's the difference between last year and this year is just how we're building trust within our players, what we've been able to do with our off season, and having a young group that's really trying to play with a chip on their shoulder this season as we move forward. Second year in the scheme, I still think that they're going to trust the scheme more. I think they're going to trust the fundamental more, and I think that they are certainly where we're trying to trust the process.
Jim Johnson, Southern Pigskin. Do you think the early success you had in your transition from FCS to FBS maybe set an unreasonable bar?
I don't know the answer to that. I think that at Georgia Southern you're expected to win. I think that that's an expectation no matter what. I think when you start talking about 6 national championships, you think about what Coach Russell was able to do and how he started the program. That's what the expectation is. The idea that being able to come right out of the gate in 2014 and 2015 and have success, I think was probably expected. And so as we continue to transition, I don't know that it hurts us. I think it helps us. There's not a player, a recruit, or a staff member that comes to Georgia Southern without knowing what the expectations of winning are and the tradition and the history that go with winning at our place. And I think that that's something that we all try to embrace.
Coach, right here. Nicholas Lewis for Got 5. Was just curious with some of the difficulties you had with getting going as the season went along offensively. Are there any particular changes in place in terms of scheme or base formations or more or less cut blocking, anything like that? If there's anything particular.
Yes, sir. Well, as we go into this year, I think one of the biggest things that you'll see from an offensive standpoint, obviously being able to bring in 3 guys with coordinator experience. Brian Cook coming from Georgia Tech, the background in both the gun and under center option. Bob Bodine, our offensive line coach, same thing, coordinator at the Citadel and a gun option scheme. Been under center, brought in from West Point. And then Justin Wood, was offensive coordinator the last couple of years at Cal Poly, led the country in rushing at FCS, and I think finished in the top 2 in scoring. So I think what you're going to see is those 3 guys, along with Chad Lunsford and Chris Foster, very much believe in the same things, come from very similar backgrounds. I think that you're going to see an offensive line that is playing downhill and attacking, similar to most option teams are. I think that you're also going to see explosive plays. And really those are all coming because of the continuity in the menu that we're trying to bring about with our plays. I certainly think that the answers are built into our scheme better versus what you would have seen last year. And so we're really excited about how we're going to be able to do that. Again, we're inexperienced at some of those spots, but we do have 2 good running backs that are coming back with Wesley, who's here with us today in LA. And certainly we wind up having 4 of our offensive linemen that are back, and Tommy Boynton really coming back as a starter from 2 years ago, really being the 5th guy. So we feel good about that spot. And Miles Campbell's a tremendous slot receiver for us, does a lot of different things. And we'll see who kind of comes out to Z next. I'm really excited to see if we've got 4 or 5 guys I feel really good about that can play Z or X for us, but who's going to be the guy and who's going to make those explosive plays for us, we don't know today.
Good morning, Coach. Bobby Kyrie with Reddit College Football. Heading into next season, or this season, I should say, what adjustments have you made in your own personal coaching style based on how last year went down?
Well, I think the biggest thing is anytime you're in your second year, I had a question earlier about today and how it was versus last year coming to media day. Man, your first year, you don't know what to expect in a lot of different things. People can tell you that they do, and it's an easy transition and all that, but I remember coming here last year not having any idea what the Superdome looked like, what the layout would be, how many people were here. And so I think that anytime you're in a transition, you feel more comfortable your second time through things. For me, I have just really tried to pour my heart, pour my time into individual players and trying to build trust and trying to build cohesion with our guys and trying to make sure that what we do from an X's and O's standpoint really comes back to the coordinators and trying to make sure that those guys feel like they can do what is best for our team offensively, defensively, and special teams. And mine's been about building relationships and trust with players, coaches, staff. We're trying to be a little bit smarter. The question earlier today about how to be able to go about and practice with a young football team. We are bringing our guys in earlier. We will have breaks kind of built in. We'll have 3 days of practice and then a recovery day for a 5-week preseason as opposed to 2 straight weeks. So I think we're being smarter with our bodies. I think we're being smarter with our health. And that's what I think all those things are kind of put in place for year 2.
Coach over here, Marcel, Sports Inquirer.
Yes, sir.
Defensively, what improvements do you see on that? And especially having a guy like De La Rosa he missed half the season with the injury. How do you expect to see improvements on that side of the ball, and what do you want to do well overall in defense?
Well, I think obviously totally opposite of a year ago. Last year, our big question mark was certainly in the secondary. Darius Jones was a returning starter, and everybody really after that had such little playing experience. So we're really looking forward to that group being our strength this year, being able to get Chris back healthy. And then, having guys like Todd Bradley, who felt like was going to be a fantastic player, suffered an injury for us last year, being able to get him back onto the field going. Rashad Bird probably had as good a spring practice for us as anybody. And then we've got Coach Zoe at our defensive line. Coach Zoe's been our defensive coordinator. We've moved him to be our defensive line coach as well. Guy who has, a tremendous amount of experience with the defensive line, put a ton of guys into the NFL. And does a great job with that position. So, really the place that we talk about needing to be able to have experience fast needs to be in the front 7. We do think that we've got a tremendous group of players. They're just young at those spots. But also on the D-line, you've got Logan Hunt, who should be a 3-year starter again for us, coming back. Sept will be back as a defensive tackle again as a 3-year starter. So we've got some guys at the defensive end position that we need to come on. And I really think that pressure is a big key to it, being able to make sure that we do a better job of pressuring the quarterback. I thought we were really poor at that. And if we don't do that, then we're going to put our secondary in a bad position, because they're going to have to be able to be in positions where they're covering all day long. So we've got to do a better job with that. I think what you're going to see the second year in the system is us be more aggressive on defense, and I think that you're going to see guys who are playing with a little bit faster contact speed.